Hey everybody, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for being here for my Memory Planning Monday Project Life series. If you'd like to see what I'm going to do for this week, stick around. Hey friends, happy Monday, I hope. Is it though? Is it? Um, well, today is actually Tuesday for me, and I am doing all of my filming and getting started on week 41 of my Project Life album. I have sped this up 4 times the actual speed so that you guys are not here for 10 million years. So as you can see, I'm using paper person items. I have a couple of pocket cards from Stories by the Month by Ellie Edwards. And then I have lots and lots of goodies from the Paper Person shop's most recent release in September. And so I'm going to be using those items to embellish my photos and the week. I always pick a couple of washi. I have a polka dot washi that's from the Vicky Booten Travel Collection, and then I have a gold heart washi from Simply Gilded. I decided to go with the gold washi because it definitely plays off of the gold foiling on the leaf die cuts. So I embellished the first picture, which is actually from last Sunday, of Nora with her fake nails. She wore me down, this girl. My goodness, the nails, I can't. But yeah, she's way too young for them, and they're ridiculous. But she found some on clearance somehow when I was at TJ Maxx looking for something, and they were her size, and they were just a pale pink. And I said, fine, you can put them on, or I will put them on you on a day on the weekend when we're not going anywhere. You may not wear them to school or to church, and they are coming off before you go to school the next day. Well, sure enough, they popped off before it was time to take them off, which I told her was going to happen, and she quickly got over the fascination with the fake nails. So I win. Yay, parenting win. And that's what it's all about, being the winner. No, just kidding. But anyways, I just embellished that picture with some washi and then the chipboard that says documented, a little puffy heart, and I'm going to go back at the end and add a few blue letters from an older, I think it's from like the Marge Paper Person kit, because the blue goes with, you know, the blues that are in this collection. And I covered up the little star at the top with a puffy star, and I also do end up going back to stamp a little bit because I totally forgot at this point that I had a stamp set that came with the kit. And then I'm just journaling quickly about how the nail thing happened and also how I got my hair cut and colored and that I went darker for the fall. Add a little pink puffy heart and call it good. And then I'm trying to figure out how to embellish this photo, the selfie I took. And I thought it was perfect too because fall flannel and the colors are the same colors. So it matched without me being intentional. I'm pulling these navy blue-ish. I'm not even sure. They're kind of a navy blue. Scalloped label from Studio Calico. Clearly jacked that one up. So I got to fix it, replace it. No big deal. Basically just saying fresh cut and color. Embellish that, and again, I will go back and do some stamping once I discover my stamps, and call that one good. On that same day, I also got a PSL because it was the PSL's birthday, and so it was kind of fun. If you got a PSL on that day, they gave you some tattoos, and that's them right there. I was trying to figure out if I could put them in, but they're actually 3x4 size, and I didn't want to take up a whole pocket with them, so I'll just have to save those for later, for maybe actually using them as a tattoo. Who knows? So I'm going to embellish this floral card with just a bunch of different things. So a couple of leaves, an autumn chipboard piece, and a couple of puffy stickers. And that's going to be just there for decoration. I love that little squirrel. So stinking cute holding the acorn. So he had to live right there. And then this photo is of Nora at the park. I think it might have been on Monday. Maybe not. No, this was definitely after school one day. I took her to the playground because I promised her if it was nice out, because it had been so rainy, that I would take her to the playground. So we did go, even though I was completely and utterly exhausted because I subbed 3 days this week. So that's Nora's brand new coat. Isn't it cute? She was obsessed with this little spinny thing, and she just kept spinning around like a million times using her one leg as like the top. you know, like of a spinning top. Like she used her leg as a point and she just spun a million times to the point where like I took a video of her eyes after she stopped spinning and her eyes were still going, even though she was not moving. It was hilarious. Let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Put the label back on, stamp with my ink. I couldn't find my Memento black ink that I usually use, and this time I used VersaFine pigment ink and an onyx black, and it stamps so dark and crisp. I love it. The only problem is it must be different than, because I'm not like an expert stamper, it must be a different like material than what the Suki Nico Memento ink is. They're both, this says, the Memento says that it's fade resistant dye ink. I don't know, dude. But the dye ink dries really quickly on my photos. And then this VersaFine, which is also by Suki Nico, is very, very pigmented and very like dark. So, you know, I guess I prefer the Memento only because it has less of a chance of like being slippery on the photo paper that I use. But that's just a personal preference. I do like that it stamps really dark. I know that was a whole tangent about ink, but I just wanted to let you know because that's also part of the reason why I made a few smudge marks here and there on the photos and I couldn't get rid of it. But anyhow, you can see I did go back there with the stamps once I discovered them. So I put slow down on the picture of Nora, cozy on the selfie of me, and then I'm putting crisp and cool on this photo of Nora at the park. So I'm like, oh yay, stamps, let me add those embellishments because I don't already have enough going on. That's just the way I am. I just love to over embellish and stamp and use all the products. So I use my Zig Clean color dot marker in the same shade of like orange coral that I used for highlighting the October card at the top. And I like to use that for bullet points and to highlight like the fact that these are numbers. So I'm just journaling about basically how my house is decorated for fall. The summer clothes have been put away. We have to dress here in upstate New York for 3 seasons in one day. There's like this meme that's a joke about having summer, spring, and winter. Like you wake up and you have a winter coat on, and then by mid-morning it's like spring or fall, and then by evening it's, or by late afternoon it's like summer, and then like a cool summer day, like 65, you know, something like that. Summer for us anyway. And then by evening it's cold again. So but I just put a little puffy heart in the O and called that card done. And then this picture is a 2 photo in 1 of my PSL on the same day of my haircut and color. How I was mentioning before that it was the PSL's birthday, so I put happy birthday to the PSL. And then this is a picture of Smokey, who has climbed up on Jeeves's normal spot, which is like this grid window cut out between the dining room and the kitchen. And Jeeves normally is up there, but Smokey's large enough now to get up there himself. And so his ears are back because we were like, Smokey, how did you get up there? And he thought he was in trouble. So it was just like the perfect time to take the picture, which was hilarious. This other autumn stamp set is from Studio Calico. I absolutely love this stamp set, and I love Studio Calico stamps, period. So I just used a little like PSL love and the cup there to embellish that picture. I kept hemming and hawing about, that's why it took so long, I kept hemming and hawing about what to do with the picture of Smokey, but I just left it and decided not to tell the story, and I just figured like it kind of tells itself. So this leafy paper is cut, I trimmed it down, it was a 6x8 paper. So the paper person kits only come with 6x8 or 3x4, and you can just trim them down and make more cards, which is really awesome, I think. And so I was trying to figure out how to make this a title card without it, you know, looking like too much, but also looking like it matched and all that good stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay this gold washi down, which I absolutely flipping love. And then I put a couple of these leaves instead of like a ton. I was going to put a bunch like at the top. That's what I was playing around with earlier. And so I layer these 2. And then I'm going to take that scrap and then another gold leaf and make a teeny cluster on the top. So there's sort of a diagonal going on there. And then these white cardstock alphas are awesome. And so I'm just going to use them to spell out week. I'm really bummed they don't have numbers. My girl Jenny Garcia is, you know, always complaining about that too, and I am fully supportive of that complaint, that if there's alphas, there should be coordinating numbers. But there wasn't. So this is when I discovered and pulled out my little teeny tiny blue puffy alphas from an older kit that honestly has been mostly picked through, but I was able to find a 4 and a 1 to put 41. And then I want to kind of bring those into other photos, so I'm going to try to use them and get creative with that throughout the rest of the spread. I'm going to put this chipboard sentiment that says autumn has arrived. I want to bring in some of that red orange color. And then I'm going to use these teeny tiny red like dots just to sprinkle in some more color. I did decide to layer this washi at the top because even though it's like the same color, I do think it adds a little bit of interest and it makes the top look less like bare. And then I'm going to stamp 2 sentiments on the top of that washi, which in retrospect, I kind of wish I had used dye ink, but I was too lazy to get it out. So I am just using the black, which to me looks a little bit too stark, but it is what it is. So I put stories from this season and then autumn moments or something like that, maybe. I think. Autumn moments. Yes. Yay, I remembered. Mark it on your calendar. That never happens. Then I decide it needs a little something on the bottom right to balance out the black on the top left. So I add that leaf outline and call that title card good, I think. Nope, just kidding. I add a puffy heart on the top. Then it's done. This is a selfie I took at a very unflattering angle because I was trying to get the whole symbol behind me, which I obviously didn't do very well, but I know what it is, so it's okay. But they are Nora's school colors. I was subbing 3 days this week, and that's what this picture symbolizes. And it was kind of cute because it was actually taken on Friday, and Nora stayed home, which was a first that I end up journaling about later because she wasn't feeling well. She stayed home with my husband, and I went to work, which was a definite first for us and such a privilege to be able to have at Nora being almost 8 years old. But I really wanted to, make sure that I was there for the kids who needed me. And my husband has the ability to telework, so we did that. And so I took the selfie while I was waiting for Nora's class to come back from lunch. So that's that photo. I just used, because I worked 3 days, I stamped 3 days on that picture and used some little tiny puffy circles as bullet points just to accent that fact. And then that picture is taken, I think, the day before or 2 days before when I was subbing, and I happened to be out at recess at the same time as Nora's class. So I snapped this picture of her going down the slide. They were playing tag. And I just embellished that with some washi and the autumn days. And then I'm going to take this curved stamp. I thought it would be kind of fun to embrace the shape of the slide. So it says feeling like fall, even though you can't really see the fall because of the photo, but I can tell what it says up close, and I really like that little technique. So I'm just going to add this pink scrappy leaf that I have left over, and that's going to be that photo. And then the middle card there with the leaf border, I use to do some journaling. And again, like, it doesn't have any bullet points, but I want to use it in that way. So again, I'm going to bring out my clean color dot marker and use it to add just bullets about the game and our day on Saturday. So the game is on the right. It's a shot of Nora as a back spot, which is covered now by the scissors, but it was her first time at a football game doing an actual cradle, which is a cheer term, but it's basically just when you flick the cheerleader and catch them. And as a back spot, it can be kind of scary because they land on you and you just kind of have to, catch them, obviously. Not kind of, you have to catch them. And, a lot of injuries can happen. And so I was really proud of Nora, and I'm just journaling about that and how her best friend Abby came over all day Saturday and ended up staying overnight. She wanted to come to the game, mostly because they had a concession stand, but still, it was nice to have her there. I know it definitely meant a lot to Nora. And it was really freezing cold. It was like, I say that, but it was probably about 50 degrees. But still, to stand out in that weather for like 2 hours is Not ideal. We won. It was our last regular season game, so we have playoffs now. And then that was our Saturday. Sunday, we all got to go to church, and then after church, my husband came home and mowed the lawn. Nora went to Abby's house for a change, and she got to go on the zip line, which is what that photo is, in the middle there, on the top middle photo. She's like living her best life. It's a legit zip line. Like, her Abby's grandfather built it from this gigantic treehouse in their backyard. They have like all this property in a huge like mansion house, and Nora like has been begging to go over, and so it finally worked out that she could go over for a couple hours, and I was actually taking Abby's oldest sibling to brunch, because they were home from college for a few days. So after church, I took them to brunch, and then which is what the photo is when you flip up the December daily cart that's on the bottom left. There's a little tiny photo of my breakfast tacos, which were drool-worthy amazing. So I took Grace to brunch, and then after that, I picked up Nora, and then my husband had already invited over our friends who happen to also be our pastor and husband. So they came over with their three boys, which was, of course, loud and chaotic and crazy. And we had ordered pizza, and Matt made wings because, Nora has celiac, so she can't have wings that you can just order out. So he made wings, and he made her own pizza, of course. And the gentlemen, they watched the Lions because they are Lions fans. And my friend Brittany, who's my pastor, and I hung out with all the kiddos, and pretty much I just kind of went around and cleaned up messes, and refereed. And then I also, in between those busy moments, I was able to set up my December daily cart, which is my second year in a row doing this, and I'm so, so excited to get into this project. You have no idea. Unless you're doing it, then you probably understand. But so I just simply embellished that with taking time out, split the photo with the washi in order to, delineate that that's two separate pictures, even though they're taken on the same day, but they're at different places. And that's two of the sons. Her other son is a baby, so clearly he's not going to sit in the car that Nora has, which her oldest son absolutely loved, and we were like, please take it home. Nora is not going to be able to fit into it. So anyhow, I embellished that one with the stamp Life Feels Good. Also, this week, earlier in the week, my podcast episode released for the John Chi Show. I don't, I share a lot of content over on Instagram, just like in my stories. Reshare, I don't want to say I create it, but I reshare content that's created about adoption and transracial adoption, which I am a transracial adoptee. And so that's something I'm passionate about, and I was really, really, really humbled to be able to speak on their podcast, which is well known in the Korean adoptee world. So anyhow, I just took a screenshot of their Instagram post. And if you follow me there, then you may have seen me share this in my stories as well. But I'd rather have perfect strangers listening to my like vulnerable life story than people I know, if that makes sense. So I'm journaling about all these things, and the last journaling card on the right is going to be space for me to talk about having Brittany and her husband and their three boys over Sunday. And so I'm going to use the blue alphas again to spell out SUN for Sunday, because that's what I'm journaling about. And also, if you notice that story, the card above with the leaves, I used 1, 2, and 3 to add some journaling. And I also stamped a story, which came with on the little 3x4 stamp set that came with the Stories by the Month kit from Allie Edwards. And then I do go back over to the left side of the page and add in some of the blue alphas so that there is consistency between the left and right side of my spread for the week. So I'm just going to stamp the date in the bottom and then add a little puffy heart next to Sunday. And then that is going to be it for the right side of the spread. I'm going to go back to the left, like I said, and see I have these blue stickers here, and I'm like, how can I add something to these photos, and which photos can I add something to? So the picture of Smokey up in the window, I just embellished hi. I thought that was pretty funny. And then, because doesn't he look like a kid, like who got caught doing something they shouldn't be? So funny. Anyway, and then I end up spelling LUV, like love, around the stamp sentiment that says slow down. I just had to move the little puffy heart up a little bit so I could work on the alpha spacing there. And then the last thing I do is add 10 above the October card, because I feel like, you know, I want the blue puffy stickers to be in 3 different spots on each side of the layout. So I added a 10 to that card and called it good. So here are the close-ups. Please like this video if you did. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them in the comments, or you can DM me on Instagram. As always, I had a lot of fun sharing this with you. Take care, sweet friends, and remember that you are enough, and I love you guys. See you later.